The state version. You know.
We're calling our salary board meeting January 14th to order. First item would be to approve the minutes from the January 7th salary board meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
First item of business on today's agenda. Request from the courts to create 2 adult probation officer positions. Duties will include an institutional officer and an ARD officer. Courts will fund the salaries from the probation supervision fund for a total of $85,000 a year for 4 years. This is something we have discussed. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, but before I make that formal motion, I would like to turn to our probation services director, Mr. Burkhart. Mr. Burkhart, if you could just give us a thumbnail sketch on the need for the 2 new positions and just basically what they're going to do and how that will help the county.
Yes, so first of all, the creation of an ARD officer. Currently, our adult supervisor supervises a caseload of, right now it's 109 cases of ARD probation, but he also has all of the duties of a supervisor that oversees the department, 8 adult officers and clerical staff. And it's difficult for that position to properly supervise staff, handling a caseload of 109 individuals. So the idea is to split that apart from the supervisor's duties to allow him to do more administrative and training functions. Meanwhile, we have a intensive officer that also does supervised bails, and we would want to split those supervised bails cases from that intensive officer. Currently, supervised bails are 31, but the number was higher previously. It'll allow more supervised bail cases, better supervision of those cases, less jail days at the jail. Obviously means money saved. So that's for the ARD position. For the other position, it would be an institutional officer. Currently, I handle all of the home plans of paroles, calculation of sentences, everything that goes along with that for anyone that's getting out of the jail. And I have to do that in addition to many other duties. That would split the duties, the additional duties that I have, and make a full-time position, preferably housed at the jail, that would handle all home plans. They could even do like drug testing from the jail on those cases that have concurrent probation, and just manage the turnover to jail better. And I believe that that will also create jail days saved, creating a better turnover, all while allowing me to focus more on my administrative duties to be able to meet the state's requirements so that we qualify for our yearly grant aid funding.
Excuse me.
If memory serves, we're interested in that institutional position. We've been interested for some time. So I know that the jail, the deputy wardens there are going to find that very, very helpful.
And the warden supported it also.
Yes,
So-
thank you, Mr. Burke, for the clarification on these positions.
And let me say that the institutional position, okay, that sounds good, but we tried previously, a number of years ago, to hire somebody for a position full-time at the jail. Nobody was interested whatsoever. So I can't say, as I'm seated here now, that if we hire somebody, that person would be at the jail on a full-time basis.
Well, I was just going to say, if it is the matter of the physical location, it's your bailiwick, not mine, but just having them do that work and coordinate with Susan on an everyday basis, I think would just be extremely helpful, even if they aren't physically at the jail every day.
I mean, if you have somebody, I'm just making this up, if you have somebody who you hire and they're more comfortable with their office being in the annex with the rest of the probation department, but then they're going out to the jail, probably on a significant basis, and if somebody's more comfortable with that, and it makes it easier to hire someone, that might be what we have to do. I would also note that, yes, we have an agreement with the commissioners for a total of $85,000 per year for 4 years for the two positions. That's not 85 each, that's 85 total. Also, as all you folks know, this is my last year. I'm going to retire at the end of the year. Judge Cherry will become the president judge in January of 2026. And we've all met, we've all discussed this, and he is also on base with this agreement. And the two of us have given that to the commissioners in writing. So, would you like to say anything?
No, I concur with Judge Chairman, and I'm in agreement with this, these two positions to be established and all the conditions pertaining to it.
Well, I'll second the motion.
Well, I didn't make it yet.
I thought you did.
I'll make the motion of requesting that the salary board create two new adult probation officer positions. One would be an institutional officer, the other ARD officer, with the court having agreed to fund salaries from the adult supervision fund for a total of $85,000 per year for 4 years.
Second.
Okay, motion moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. On to the next item of business. Request from the courts for commissioners' approval to offer $2,500 structured sign-on bonuses to new probation officer hires. Court will use additional supervision monies to reimburse the county for any bonuses paid out.
Just so we're clear, supervision monies are monies paid by defendants for supervisory duties by the probation officers. That is not taxpayers' money. Same with the $85,000 above. That is not taxpayers' money. This is what we have proposed. I didn't know this was going to be on the agenda today. Was unsure if this is something that the court needed to further discuss with the commissioners prior to there being a vote. So I guess what I'm saying is, before I would make a motion, do the commissioners want to further discuss this, because there are other issues of other potential bonuses, sign-on and otherwise, from other court departments that we have discussed. And I know, at least it was my belief, that we needed to have further discussions on that. So if the commissioners want to hold off till the next salary board meeting so we can further discuss these issues, I would be willing to make a motion to table this particular item. If the commissioners are comfortable proceeding with it today by itself, I guess I'm okay with that.
What we can do there is we can either, as you said, Your Honor, table this, or we can approve this as a subset of the larger issues that we have spoken of.
I don't consider them linked in any way.
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
I don't consider them linked to any other discussions, so
Okay, well, I'm okay. I just wanted to make sure that there weren't any problems. I
Well,
certainly can't ask the commissioners, oh, how are you gonna vote on this? That's inappropriate. But if any of the commissioners believe that any further discussion or clarification is necessary, I'm certainly willing to do that. And
There
I
is-
think Judge Sherry is too.
there is one amendment that I would like to offer to this, and that would be, we've done bonuses before, and a lot of times we've used either state or federal monies, and it can be more difficult to do what I'm about to propose, and that is, if somebody leaves within a year, I think it would be appropriate to withhold the pro rata share of this from their final payment, because the whole idea is that they stay at least a year.
That's why it says structured.
Right,
But I don't think that Judge Cherry and I have discussed exactly what we are going to agree that the structure is going to be at this point, where I don't think either one of us can tell you, well, the structure will be this way.
well, then I would move to table until that's clear.
That's not a problem.
Okay.
So okay, so you moved to table it, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion to table this request on the structured sign-in bonuses and a second. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that is gonna be tabled till the next salary board meeting. Does
I
any,
think we should probably have a meeting on this stuff. Everybody's schedule is just overwhelming. That's the fact of life now. So I'm gonna ask, when I go back, I'm gonna ask my secretary to take steps to deal with the five of us and see, and perhaps I think our controller as well should be included, and see if we can get a meeting set up that's convenient for all of us.
Cool.
okay,
And Mr. Glass, I think that, I certainly appreciate the fact that you as the commissioner would feel more comfortable if you knew exactly, specifically, what type of structures the bonuses would have. No problem.
Sounds good.
okay, we will proceed with putting that meeting together. Anything else to come before the salary board this morning? Seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn the salary board?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. That concludes the salary board portion of this morning. We will watch the mass exodus before we get underway with the, thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And we will now move on to the Board of Commissioners meeting, as we have already done the Pledge of Allegiance. We will begin with the approval of minutes from January 7th, 2025.
I move the minutes from the previous meeting be approved.
Second.
Moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
And now on to the always fun part of approval of the bills. Controller Edwards.
All right, general fund, $6,658,155.70. Hazmat, $36,995.08. 911, $927,329.69. Hotel tax fund, $380,067.73. Records improvement, $278.01. CDBG, $61,672.91. Domestic relations, $3,264.78. And CYS, $417,152.03, for a total of $8,484,915.93. One note, the 911, that $900,000 was, it stays internal, but it's a different fund, so it was 911 reimbursing the county for their salaries.
Okay, motion to approve the bills as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second, all in favor?
Aye. Just the top one? Or is there a second signing, please?
But, there should be two there.
Thank you.
Sorry about all the.
Well, I know it's the end of the year,
She has,
so,
yeah, split.
actually, I think that's really smart. I don't,
Internally for 24, 25.
yep, really smart to do it that way. That's the first time I can remember seeing it
Okay,
kind of
we have
notated that
these.
Yeah,
way.
I think your signature.
And
is on the
hopefully-
second one.
Yeah,
All of our departments and employees are on board with the deadline, so that you won't have anything coming in late for 24, so, which they know about because we sent it out.
as always, thank you, Controller Edwards, for your diligence. Moving on, personnel issues. Under new hires, we have an intern at Domestic Relations, effective 1/13/25. And separations and retirements, we have a caseworker, CYS, effective 1/17/2025. No transfers, no FMLA or leave of absence request. A motion to approve the personnel changes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And now, public comment.
We did have public comment.
Yeah, I thought you- I
Just in
just,
time for public
Yeah, I-
comment,
I
Judge.
had it on record.
thank you, Your Honor, for making an appearance under public comment.
That was timing.
Under old business, seeing none on the agenda, we'll move on to new business. The first one, I'll explain this just a little bit. Coming up, of course, in 2026 is the America 250 celebration and hence the PA 250 celebration. This involves a number of appointments. Clearfield County has already appointed Julie Houston to a county advisory committee. This is a state level advisory committee. We're going to give the list of the following people, and they will be on the county advisory committee. You'll see these are local people, and this will operate under the auspices of Visit Clearfield County Recreation and Tourism Authority. It would be Mary Kay Royer, Richard Hughes, Christy Brown, Diane Byers, Sean Arbaugh, Terry Rickard, Jennifer Tubbs, Robert Bainey, Denny and Sue Schaffner, Rusty Christoph, Eisen Lingenfelder, Kathy Larson, Bill Hayward, along with members of our Recreation and Tourism Authority, John Sobel, Susan Williams, Sue Swales Vitello, and Brandy Owens. I will ask for a motion to appoint those previously listed names to the County Advisory Committee with the understanding that there may be several more.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and properly moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye? Okay. And I will make this list available to the press of those that are appointed, unless
It has
you,
the towns on it, too.
unless you were writing very quickly. Next up, we're gonna consider approval of an RFP for in-home drug and alcohol prevention program for CYS. Do we wanna explain that any, or we good?
If you want to explain the program, I can speak to obviously the RFP a little bit, but I think as far as the intent of the program would be beneficial.
Sure. The intent of the program is to offer in-home drug and alcohol counseling to parents, guardians struggling with substance abuse, addiction. It is a driving force in our placements and in our cases that are open for services. It may be the #1 driving force. I didn't calculate all the numbers. But certainly it is a pressing factor, and there's no service that does this right now. We have in-home services, but none of them speak directly to drug and alcohol counseling in the home with the parents. It's designed to have a daily contact with the individual who is struggling with the addiction, and essentially assist them with prioritizing their children and the safety of their children over their drug use.
Okay, and this will be something that is new to Clearfield CYS, this service.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay,
And as it's a request for proposals, obviously that would give the director and staff time to review them, see the program, evaluate them, because it would be a specialized service at that point. We can determine if we're ready to move forward. And timing wise, we're looking at getting the advertisement out, and hopefully reaching out to some current providers who may be able to do this or some other services, and then hopefully be able to review those near the end of February.
I mean, I think this is a great idea. I guess my only question is, what's the funding source for the program?
It would be the same funding sources that is for all of our in-home service providers, so the Act 148,
So, I mean, I guess I'm asking, that's
state funding.
right, so,
What's the
but is it
percent?
is this budgeted for, I mean,
It is budgeted for, actually, we budgeted specifically for this program, and I don't wanna
no, I understand,
get
yeah.
it to be too confusing, because our budget can be, a little more complex.
As long as
but
you've got room in the budget, I'm satisfied.
Yes, we budgeted specifically for this. This is something that I had, in mind when we wrote our budget.
That's fine.
Trudy,
Okay.
what percentage of reimbursement are we talking about? Do you
I
know?
will, it would at least be 80-20. We're
Okay.
trying to put this in a particular portion of the budget that might be a little higher. There's a provision in the budget that allows basically for new programs, and that's where we would be putting this, but I do believe it's still 80/20.
Yeah. Well, look, and this is something I probably wouldn't have said 2 or 3 years ago, but I do want to urge the Board of Commissioners to approve the RFP as submitted in the new process developed by Director Lemadou. In my understanding, this is an idea of Trudy's when I talked to her yesterday. In my opinion, and I don't pretend to know more than you do, Trudy, but the problem with drug use and abuse on the part of parents in Clearfield County families is a horrible problem, and it has become so endemic that it is, at least I think, the number one problem culturally we are facing. It's causing all kinds of horrible problems for our families and wreaking havoc on the nuclear family, if we even have that in Clearfield County anymore. And I think the effect it's having, it's spreading CYS's staff so thin and making it so difficult to find placement just because of the sheer number of families that have this as a problem, that I think we have to think outside of the box and try something different. And I'm hoping that we're able to find a provider that does have the proper training and wherewithal, that they do have a serious impact on the problem. At least that's my hope, but I certainly think we should be willing to try it anyway. I agree with Mr. Glass. I think it's a great idea.
I concur with that. This is, we have to look at all the avenues we have available, and if this one is one that we can get to work out. So do we have a motion?
Yes, sir. I'd be happy to make that motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. That passes. We will proceed with the RFP on that program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else under new business? Anyone else have, gentlemen, anything? We'll move on to our solicitor's report.
I do not have anything additional this morning.
Anything else for the good of the order? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn at 10:53.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.